Tiernan, firstly, congratulations, champion conditional. What a great feeling, I'd imagine that is.
Yeah, it was brilliant. Thanks very much, Dave. Jeez, remember that day we were in Phillips and we were talking about it, and yeah, we got over the line anyway.
Yeah, and it was tight at the time, wasn't it, with John Shinnick and Conditional Walsh as well, and
yeah, and Alex Harvey, and there was a few of them there.
yeah.
And then I was lucky. I went through a bit of a good spell, and I took a bit of a lead, and it got back tight again then in the last couple of weeks, and yeah, just held on in the end.
And then suspended for the week of Punchestown as well, I'd imagine was fairly frustrating then as well.
Yeah, it was. I was. Jack Hendrick and Paddy Scallon were picking me up, getting a shower at home at the house, picking me up, and I was going racing every day, watching on the other side of the parade ring, and yeah, it was a long week, and then of course John rode a winner and drew me in within one, and so the last couple of days were, yeah, they were long days.
I was talking to Garry Cribbin on the Friday. We were actually in the parade ring watching Constitution Hill and Stateman walk around before the race, and he was talking about that John had 2 rides on the Saturday, but Garry was telling me that even if he rode one, that you would beat him on countback and everything else and all. So, but I'm sure once you seen then he had his first ride and it didn't win, then you knew you couldn't be beaten then.
Yeah. So it was a bit of a relief after the first one. And he was well fancied, he ran well, but unlucky for John, he didn't win anyway, you know, so one of us had to come out on top, and I was lucky one this time round anyway.
You obviously have a good relationship with John Shinnick.
Yeah, John's a good lad, yeah, he's a good bit of crack there in the weigh room, and he's a sound fella, and you know, like, so, no, it was I wouldn't say it was a fun couple of weeks, the two of us trying to keep on top of one another, but it was good to be sharing it with him anyway, you know.
Absolutely, it's brilliant. And here in Wexford today, winner on the board, first of the season, only obviously 2 weeks in, but nice to get a winner, and for Philip as well. Splendid choice, was very tough and needed to be.
Yeah, he was tough. He had a good run the last day. He finished 4th in Limerick. He wasn't beat that far, and Dylan Robinson rode him. And obviously Dylan doesn't claim, so might claim off him today. Then we were hoping it might just grab them extra few lengths, but no, he knuckled down, and he challenged coming up the hill and into the straight, and he stuck his head down over the last 2 hurdles, and he battled to the line. He was good, and delighted to get a winner. It was my first winner in Wexford. Obviously it's my local track, so it was nice to ride a winner here as well.
First winner here?
First winner in Wexford.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
no, didn't realise that.
Yeah,
that's good
so,
then. Nice.
Yeah, it's just only a few minutes up the road, so
yeah, absolutely.
Lots of rides here and no winners. So.
There you go.
Yeah.
Plenty of winners obviously everywhere else, and as I mentioned, winning the conditional title was 29 winners. Huge number of winners, so nice to get, and obviously Philip being a huge part of that. Philip had 38 winners, 42 was his better season the year before, but he'd more prize money this year, so the two of you enjoyed great seasons.
Yeah, we had plenty of good days, you know, we had a couple of doubles a few days on big tracks, and 19 winners I think of mine were for Philip as well, so like that's loads of good days we had together, and in fairness to him, he told me he'd support me well if I came into him a few mornings a week when I turn, and he stuck to his word, and he did. He gave me lots of rides, and it was just even if we did end up not winning the conditional title, topped it off brilliant, but even without it, it would have been a brilliant season, like, and you know, I can't thank Philip enough for that, for the support. And you know, there was loads of people supported me, and Garry, my agent, got me lots of outside rides, and sure, there was 10 outside winners, and you know, I needed all them as well, but Philip was brilliant support now.
I thought it was funny. Garry was telling me a few weeks back that he'd never met you, and then he told me again at Punchestown on the Friday that he still hadn't met you. And I said, well, what better way to meet you than on the Saturday, hopefully with a trophy in your hands.
Yeah, it's mad really, isn't it?
It is crazy.
You'd nearly feel like you'd know Garry as one of your friends because you're speaking to him so
every
much
day
during the week, like, yeah. And even you could even ring him, like I'd never met him, as you say, but I could ring him and say, geez, what do you think of that ride, or I could have done this, or do you know, whatever, or he'd be ringing me, giving out to me about getting suspended or something silly like that. But yeah, and geez, he's just such a sound, normal fella, and as soon as I met him on the Saturday, then it was as if I'd seen him the day before, like, yeah. You know, yeah, just like a friend as well as an agent.
A huge, like you said, a huge help with advice and everything else, but getting you, and those outside rides were well needed to win that, as you said, the winners that you rode for Philip. Keane Collins was a big part of that, and other outside winners.
Yeah, Keane was a big part. He supported me well. I think I had 6 or 7 winners for Keane, and sure, he's a good trainer, and you know, without Garry I wouldn't have got in with Keane, and even Cheltenham Festival, Gary there, he was brilliant. Sam Ewing obviously got injured with his leg or whatever it was, and I got a couple of spins for Gordon and Gigginstown, and I had a ride for Willie Mullins over there as well as Lorna Fowler and Tom Cooper, you know, and that was all down to Gary. So no, he's brilliant. He's brilliant.
He's earning his money well off you then.
He surely is.
And that's good. That switch, it's just, what is it now, nearly a year since you switched, is it, from amateur, just after the point-to-point season, which finished obviously next weekend.
Yeah, sure.
It's incredible what's happened in one season and I suppose in 1 year, isn't it?
Yeah, like this time last year I'd have been, sure, yeah, I'd been getting ready for my second last weekend of point-to-pointing, and then, yeah, it was the end of July then I had my first ride as conditional. So yeah, it was yeah, geez, like you wouldn't think that, you know, it was a bit later, starting a couple of months into the season before I started, and I was slow getting my first winner, so I never had titles or anything like that in the back of my mind, and it's just very lucky to be on the right horses a lot of the time.
Point to point is a huge ground and definitely helped you turning professional, didn't it? Like what I always felt, and I know I said this before when I was in Philip's with you, is for conditionals that don't have experience over fences, you've so much experience riding so many point-to-point winners and so much schooling and race riding over fences. That stands to you then when you're riding over fences on the track.
Yeah, definitely. Like even you see the first three races here today were Luke Murphy, big point-to-point man, then Richie Deegan won the second, didn't he? I think it came from the points, and then I won the third race. You know, like a lot of the top jockeys come from but no, a lot of them don't. So it's such a good grounding, and sure Jordan Gainford there, Sean O'Keefe, all them lads come from point-to-point, and you know it's a big thing, and like I definitely wouldn't change the route I came anyway. And you know, and if anyone was to ask me for advice about starting out, I'd definitely be saying go get yourself a couple of years in point. And you know, the point lads are so good for giving experience as well, because you're going to be in there doing all that school, and like you know, you'll be thrown up on horses, and they do give lads rides. And yeah, no, it's like gold dust really, isn't it? Like to get that experience pointing over fences and everything.
You celebrated with your two good friends, Jack Hendrick and Jamie Scallon, after winning the conditional title, and hopefully next weekend you'll be celebrating with Jamie if he holds on and wins the Southern Regional title.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we had a few this Saturday night. We didn't go too mad now, but yeah, Paddy, or Jamie, is Paddy, we all know him.
Yeah, exactly.
Is hopefully going to hold on to win the Southern title now next weekend. It'll be a long couple of weeks for him now, I suppose. But hopefully he can do it, and hopefully we'll be celebrating that. And yeah, it'd be good. Three of us come from the same little village. We'll have to have some bit of a party if
incredible, isn't it?
Yeah,
small little village, three successful riders.
Yeah, and Jamie Codd comes from there as well, and Benny Walsh, and for a small little village, there's enough of us there. And yeah, no, it is. And Jack Hendrick then, sure, last season he won the Eastern title, wasn't it? Yeah, do you know? So yeah, there's a bit of success for a small village.
and I know Jamie Codd has been instrumental in you lads' success and getting on. He's been a huge part in terms of he's learning from him and advice over the years.
Yeah, he's been brilliant. Like when the three of us started off with Jamie's brother, William, and Jamie would have been coming in and we'd have been schooling with him. Like, geez, that's when we first started. Even when we were in school, we probably weren't even race riding at the time. And sure, like you couldn't learn from a better man, could you? And it was probably last year. I spoke to a few people when I was still riding in points about turning conditional. Benny Walsh was, you know, giving me a bit of a push as well, and different lads. And Jamie was one that I spoke to about it, because obviously, you know, he's a good man to get advice off, and looking in from the outside, and he'd see us coming up along, and he probably was the one really that gave me the final push to go ahead and do it. And one day I was riding work for him, and we were schooling himself and his father Billy down in the Inish there, down in Kilmore, and Billy Bates's gallops, and we just had a bit of a chat about it, like. But no, he's been brilliant for not only myself and Jack and Paddy point-to-pointing, but anyone that's wanting any bit of help. Jamie is very good, like, and sure, he was top class rider himself, really, isn't he?
There's not many better than, probably mightn't see better than him for a long time. What will be the plan for the summer? Will you stay busy, or will you just pick and choose where you go, try and hold on to the £5 claim a bit longer?
Yeah, no, I'll try keep busy, hopefully. I know some people be saying, oh, you don't want to be trying to hold on and all, but I kind of find like if you're trying to hold on and then try to win, get a couple of winners here and there, I think you're better off just kind of flowing away and let the winners come as they come.
You might let things pass you then.
Yeah, that's it. Like, you know, steady up now in June for the break, and I'll go on a bit of a holiday and take my time in June, all right, and then we'll get back after the break. Sure, I'll try keep tipping along as best I can and chip away at my old claim and see where we go from there.
You might make a return do a bit of boating with us over the next few weeks then?
Yeah, I haven't seen the new lady as have now, but I heard she's a rocket. Bertie Finn was in the way room telling me about it there a minute ago, so I'll have to get my bottle together to come down for a spin on her.
Get you back on the ring, huh?
Yeah.
And listen, Tiernan, congratulations. Delighted for you to win that conditional title, and no doubt you're going to have huge more success going on over the next number of years.
Yeah, that's brilliant, Dave, and thanks very much for your help along the way. You were a good sponsor of mine while we were point to point, and we had plenty of days together
It's
too.
too expensive now to sponsor the professional. I don't have the money.
No, you don't. No. You may start winning a bit more golf.